I've tracked depreciation on hundreds of vehicles across every segment. The data doesn't lie. This list includes cars that sold for $100,000 new, now worth less than a used Civic. Others will bleed you dry with $20,000 repair bills before you hit 80,000 miles. At the end, I'll reveal one car worth more as scrap metal than what dealers offer on trade. Let's get to it. Number 23, Dodge Hornet. Let's get going right away with a car nobody asked for. Late 2022, Dodge promised an American muscle, shaped as a crossover. What we got was something else entirely. The rebadged Alfa Romeo Tonale still sits on dealer lots collecting dust. Those who bought it in 2023 can't even get rid of it today for half the price. That's catastrophic for a vehicle this new. The problem with the Hornet is an identity crisis. When Dodge is involved, we expect the mighty rumble of the V8 and screeching burnouts on the tarmac. The Hornet offers neither. What we get is a 2-liter 4-cylinder that is a disgrace to the brand. Build quality issues plague early models. I've seen interior trim pieces fall off with under 10,000 miles. The infotainment is still glitchy, sometimes freezing out completely. And then there were the numerous electrical gremlins. Parts availability is another nightmare. Because it shares components with Alfa Romeo, repairs take forever. Dealers don't stock parts for a car nobody buys. The nail in the coffin, you can't even sell this car. If you are looking for a new ride, don't even think about the Dodge Hornet. Number 22, Volvo V60. Wagons have been dead in America for a long time now, and the Volvo V60 is a clear example of why that is justified. This Swedish estate loses 55% of its value in 5 years. That's brutal for a vehicle that Volvo positioned as premium. The reason? Simple. The small wagon market is non-existent. Americans abandoned wagons a decade ago. What they want now is crossovers and SUVs. On top of all this, the 60's maintenance cost further accelerates the depreciation. Volvo parts aren't cheap, and the V60 needs plenty of them. The suspension wears out early. The AWD system is known to give out at 60,000 miles. All in all, you need to have at least $10,000 saved up for the repairs by the time the V60 hits 60,000. The last V60 that I worked on owed more on the loan than the car was worth. This was after the owner had already made 18 payments. Volvo's brand perception also hurts resale. They're not prestigious enough for luxury buyers. They're too expensive for mainstream shoppers. The V60 exists in resale purgatory. If you want a Volvo, buy the XC60. The SUV retains its value better and is simply a superior choice. However, wagons aren't the only body style that'll be struggling in 2026. Number 21, Lincoln Nautilus. Once upon a time, Lincoln was the best in the business when it came to luxury cars. Hand-built perfection. In the late 1950s and early 60s, they were valued higher than a Rolls-Royce. Lincoln keeps trying to recapture past glory. The Nautilus proves they're failing spectacularly. 60% depreciation in 5 years tells the whole story. This rebadged Ford Edge can't justify its luxury pricing. Buyers realize this immediately on the used market. The Nautilus lacks the prestige of German competitors. It doesn't offer the reliability of Japanese alternatives. It exists in an awkward middle ground nobody wants. Don't get me wrong, the Ford Edge is a decent car, but it is not worth 75 grand. The mechanical reliability of the Nautilus mirrors the Ford brand as well. That means transmission issues, electrical problems, and suspension failures. One customer's Nautilus needed a new transmission at 45,000 miles. Lincoln denied the warranty claim over a technicality. The used market reflects this reality harshly. 3-year-old Nautilus models sell for half their original MSRP. Dealers don't want them on trade. Private buyers can't get financing because banks know the values keep falling. Save your money. Buy a Lexus RX if you want a luxury SUV that holds value. Number 20, Infiniti QX80. This is one dinosaur that survived the meteor. Yet the QX80 soldiers on with outdated everything. 65% depreciation makes this the worst investment in the full-size luxury SUV segment. The design hasn't seen any major changes since 2011. technology feels ancient compared to modern competitors. Fuel consumption alone scares away buyers. This beast averages 14 miles per gallon in real-world driving. With gas prices where they are, that's $400 plus monthly just for fuel. The 5.6-liter V8 feels powerful, but drinks fuel like a commercial jet. No hybrid option exists. No efficiency features whatsoever. Just pure, outdated internal combustion. Even though the body looks massive, the interior tells a different tale. You need to be an Olympic gymnast to access the third row, and the boot space falls short of what you see in competitors. Reliability isn't the worst. You should be able to rack up 70 to 80,000 miles before needing any major repairs. But when they do hit, the bills hit like a truck. Worked on one with numerous powertrain issues. Came in with a blinking check engine light. Final bill, $8,000. The QX80 is treated like trash in the used market. Dealers offer pennies if you try to trade it. Private buyers negotiate aggressively because they know sellers are desperate. If you need a full-size SUV, literally anything else makes more financial sense. Speaking of poor financial decisions, the next car takes it to another level. Number 19, Alfa Romeo Tonale. Italian styling with American reliability nightmares. The Tonale depreciates 55% faster than you can pronounce its name correctly. Remember the Dodge Hornet? This compact SUV shares a lot of components with the Hornet. That should tell you everything you need to know about its future value. Electronics fail constantly. The infotainment system crashes multiple times per week. One owner reported his digital gauge cluster went completely black on the highway at 70 miles per hour in traffic. The plug-in hybrid is even worse. It promises efficiency, but only delivers complexity. Real-world electric range falls short of EPA estimates by 30%. On top of that, the gas engine burns excessive oil. Dealer network problems compound ownership nightmares. Alfa Romeo dealerships are rare. Getting service appointments takes weeks. Parts availability resembles a lottery system. I know an Alfa technician who quit because customers were waiting months for basic repairs. He couldn't stand telling people their $60,000 sedan was stuck in his bay waiting on parts from Italy. Depreciation accelerates because nobody wants Italian maintenance headaches in an SUV package. The used market reflects this reality harshly. Avoid the Tonale unless you enjoy expensive frustration. Number 18, Mazda CX-90. Mazda usually gets it right. Solid engineering, fair pricing, cars that actually work. They build vehicles that people keep for years without regret. Not this time. Mazda tried competing in premium territory with the CX-90. Big mistake. 50% depreciation in just 3 years. Devastating for a family hauler. Mazda positioned it above Toyota and Honda pricing. Buyers rejected that strategy immediately. The interior feels cramped. It's not just the third row. Even the second row falls short of what competitors have to offer. Ride quality is surprisingly harsh. Mazda tuned the suspension for handling, but family SUV buyers want comfort. The CX-90 delivers neither particularly well. The turbocharged inline-6 engine suffers from reliability concerns already. Multiple owners report oil consumption issues under 30,000 miles. The transmission shifts roughly when cold. Brand perception hurts resale dramatically. Mazda doesn't command luxury pricing. Buyers see the MSRP and buy a Toyota or Honda instead. The used market punishes the CX-90 severely. If you want to get rid of your CX-90 in a pinch, you can't expect more than 50% of the sticker price that you paid, even if you only had it for 2 years. For a mainstream brand, this is totally unacceptable. Buy a Toyota Highlander instead. Better reliability, better resale, better everything. But mainstream brands aren't the only ones struggling. Number 17, Polestar 2. The hype was crazy before the Polestar was launched. Volvo's electric offshoot promised Tesla-fighting performance. What it delivered was nothing but a Tesla-level depreciation. 50% value loss in 4 years makes this one of the fastest depreciating EVs available. Early adopters are getting destroyed financially. Range falls short of competitors. The EPA rates it at 270 miles. Real-world driving in cold weather delivers barely 180 miles. That's unacceptable in 2025. Interior space feels cramped for a vehicle this expensive. The sloping roofline kills rear headroom. Cargo space disappoints compared to traditional hatchbacks. Build quality issues plague early production models. Panel gaps vary wildly. Interior trim pieces separate from the dashboard. One owner reported his panoramic sunshade fell into his lap while driving. The charging network presents major problems. Polestar relies on third-party charging infrastructure. Good luck finding a working fast charger when you need one. Software updates fix some issues while creating new ones. One update bricked the entire infotainment system for thousands of owners. Polestar took 3 weeks to push a fix. Resale value collapsed because used EV buyers have better options. A used Tesla Model 3 costs less and performs better. Why buy a Polestar? The answer is you shouldn't. Not if you care about money. If you want an SUV that'll give your money's worth, I've covered 17 models that'll last a lifetime. Some of these models reach 300,000 miles without requiring any major repairs. Now, let's get back to an SUV that's losing value faster than a crypto coin endorsed by your cousin Dave. Number 16, Rivian R1T. When someone says electric trucks are the future, show them the Rivian R1T. 45% depreciation in under 3 years destroys early adopter wallets. This adventure truck costs $80,000 new. It's worth $44,000 3 years later. The niche market kills resale value. How many people need an electric truck for off-roading? Turns out, very few. Range anxiety becomes real with the R1T. The advertised 314 miles drops to 200 miles with real-world usage. Towing cuts that in half. Try towing a boat 100 miles and making it home without charging. Charging infrastructure in remote areas doesn't exist. The R1T targets outdoor enthusiasts who travel to places without fast chargers. That's a fundamental product mismatch. Repair costs terrify used buyers. One R1T owner needed a new battery pack after an off-road incident. Quote came back at $28,000. His insurance totaled the vehicle instead. Long-term reliability remains unknown. These trucks haven't been around long enough to prove durability. Used buyers won't gamble on unproven technology. The used market reflects this uncertainty brutally. Dealers won't stock R1Ts because they sit unsold. Private sellers drop prices weekly, trying to unload them. Unless you're wealthy enough to absorb massive losses, avoid the R1T. Number 15, Audi Q4 e-tron. Audi missed the EV mark with the Q4 e-tron. Buyers watch 50% of their money vanish in 5 years. The limited range hurt the e-tron the most. The EPA estimates the range at 265 miles on a full charge, which is already quite low. When tested on the road, the number falls even further. Realistically, you can expect around 210 miles under regular driving conditions. In cold weather, you'll do even worse. High price point positions it against better competitors. For similar money, buyers can get a Tesla Model Y with more range, better charging network, and superior technology. Audi's charging infrastructure partnership falls short. They rely on Electrify America, which suffers from reliability issues. Half the chargers don't work properly. The interior is embarrassing for a luxury brand. Hard plastics, cheap finishes, materials that belong in a budget crossover. One owner called it a $35,000 cabin in a $55,000 package. He was being generous. Maintenance costs are those of a typical combustion engine rather than an EV. Audi dealers charge premium rates for everything. All these add up to a car that is treated harshly in the secondhand market. A better investment for you would be the Tesla Model Y. Better range, better charging, better value. That leads us to another Audi that makes the list. Number 14, Audi Q7. German luxury meets German maintenance nightmares. The Q7 loses 60% of its value in 5 years. The Q7 feels like riding on top of a cloud, right? That's cause of the air suspension. Credit where credit is due, Audi nailed the comfort aspect with the suspension. The problem, the air suspension develops leaks on average at around 60,000 miles. The repair costs $2,000 per corner. No one's going to buy a used car with an impending 5-figure repair. I've repaired countless Q7s with electrical gremlins. One had intermittent starting issues we chased for weeks. The problem? A corroded module under the spare tire well. $2,800 to fix. Even if everything works fine, the Q7 is costly to own. The turbocharged V6 under the hood demands 91 octane minimum. Paying a premium for fuel could easily rack up an additional $800 compared to regular gas. Brand perception doesn't justify the maintenance costs. Buyers would rather pay similar money for a Lexus or Acura with better reliability. With the Q7, it's all about odometer. Once you pass 50,000 miles, the SUV is like a ticking time bomb. The used car market does not shy from treating it as such. Number 13, Nissan Leaf. The Leaf pioneered affordable EVs. That was 14 years ago. While Tesla, Hyundai, and Kia leapfrogged ahead, Nissan left the Leaf rotting with 2011 technology and a battery that degrades faster than your trade-in value. The Leaf uses passive cooling, so batteries overheat and die quickly. 5-year-old Leafs lose 40% of their range. Start with the base model's weak 150-mile EPA rating. Watch it drop to 110 to 120 miles in actual driving, then lose another 40% to degradation. You're charging a used Leaf after every trip to the grocery store. Fast charging capability is laughable. The CHAdeMO standard is dying. Most new charging stations don't include CHAdeMO anymore. You're stuck with slow level 2 charging. Nissan's reputation for poor battery management haunts Leaf resale values. Buyers know these batteries die young. Nobody wants that expensive replacement. I've seen Leaf owners try trading them in. Dealers offered $2,000 for a car that cost $30,000 3 years ago. That's not depreciation, that's financial murder. Battery replacement costs $8,500 minimum. That's more than the car's worth. Most owners just scrap them instead. The Leaf represents the worst of early EV technology. Avoid it at all costs. But Nissan doesn't have the worst depreciation on this list. Number 12, Land Rover Range Rover, full size. The full-size Range Rover loses 60% in 5 years. RepairPal gives it 2.5 stars out of 5. Consumer Reports rates it below average. With the Range Rover, you're buying constant shop trips. Issues spread across everything. Electrical problems start day one. Best case, power liftgate fails. Worst case, stranded roadside. The supercharged V8 develops timing chain problems. Diesel models face emissions failures. The hybrid system is a complexity nightmare. Single major repairs often exceed $8,000. Used buyers know this and run away. Land Rover charges $200 plus for basic oil changes. A 60,000-mile service hits $2,500. One Range Rover I worked on had engine failure at 35,000 miles. Warranty-covered repairs? Replacement engine failed at 62,000 miles. Brand prestige doesn't overcome reliability nightmares. Used buyers would rather have a Lexus that actually starts every morning. They say the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. And that brings us to the next model. Number 11, Range Rover Evoque. The baby Rover inherits all the family problems. The Evoque depreciates 60% within 5 years. Interior trim rattles and squeaks. The panoramic sunroof leaks. One owner dealt with persistent wind noise nobody could fix. The turbocharged 4-cylinder sounds rough and delivers disappointing fuel economy. Real MPG falls 20% short of EPA estimates. 9-speed automatic hunts for gears constantly. Several owners reported complete transmission failures under 50,000 miles. Repair costs match the full-size Range Rover. Parts don't scale down for smaller vehicles. Minor electrical fixes easily exceed $1,500. I've seen Evoque owners underwater on loans after 2 years. Depreciation outpaces payment schedules. They can't trade without writing checks. Buy a Lexus NX instead. Number 10, Porsche Panamera. Porsche experimented with a 4-door sedan. The market said no thanks. 65% depreciation makes the Panamera a cautionary tale. These sold for $90,000 plus new. They're worth $31,500 5 years later. controversial design never resonated. The rear end looks awkward from every angle. Porsche loyalists wanted 911s, not weird four-door experiments. Performance doesn't match true Porsche sports cars. The Panamera weighs too much to feel engaging. Why pay Porsche prices for a Mazda driving experience? Maintenance costs mirror 911 levels without the prestige. A minor service runs $800. Major service exceeds $3,000. The used market reflects a brutal reality. These sit unsold for months despite aggressive pricing. Unless you enjoy expensive disappointment, skip the Panamera entirely. Speaking of expensive disappointments. Number 9. Tesla Model S. The flagship that started the revolution is sinking fast. 65% depreciation in 5 years. Hardware's outdated. Build quality concerns plague every generation. Panel gaps vary wildly. Interior trim falls off. One owner's steering wheel came off while driving. One minor fender bender resulted in $11,000 in repairs. Insurance companies total Teslas for relatively minor damage now. Tesla's repair network can't keep up. Appointments take months. Parts availability is terrible. One owner waited 6 months for a drive unit replacement. 5-year-old models sell for $30,000 despite $95,000 original price. The biggest challenge for the Model S is that the newer Tesla models offer better technology for less money. The Model 3 outperforms the Model S while costing $30,000 less. Used buyers aren't stupid. Now let's look at a Mustang with an identity crisis. Number 8. Ford Mustang Mach-E. Ford committed brand suicide, slapping the Mustang badge on an electric crossover. Purists exploded. Backlash was immediate and brutal. 46% depreciation in 3 years destroys launch buyers. Brand mismatch guarantees value collapse from day one. Here's the problem. Mustang means something. V8, thunder, tire smoke, American muscle heritage. The Mach-E delivers none of that. Door seals leak water into cabins. Interior trim rattles like $25,000 economy cars. Panoramic roofs develop stress cracks without warning. Truth be told, the Mach-E isn't the worst car here. Calling this abomination a Mustang is what hurt the most. Too early to judge long-term reliability. So far, no catastrophic failures. But here's reality. If you're spending this much, buy the Tesla Model Y instead. Superior charging network, battle-tested reliability, resale value that doesn't evaporate. Number 7. Maserati Ghibli. 69% depreciation makes this the most expensive mistake on wheels. $75,000 new. Worth $23,250 5 years later. Everything costs 3 times more than comparable German sedans. Oil changes run $400. Brake jobs exceed $2,500. The twin-turbo V6 develops oil consumption issues. The ZF 8-speed transmission fails prematurely. Electrical gremlins appear constantly. Parts availability? Classic Italian disaster. One owner needed a turbocharger. 5-month wait. 5 months of payments on a paperweight. Brand prestige eroded years ago. Maserati signals financial irresponsibility now. The used market considers Ghiblis toxic. They sell for pennies on the dollar when they sell at all. Number 6. BMW 7 Series, E65. German engineering meets over-engineering. The E65 loses 70% in 5 years. Complex electronics fail constantly and expensively. This generation introduced iDrive, which malfunctioned regularly. One failure paralyzes multiple functions. Polarizing design aged terribly. The controversial styling looked weird when new, looks worse now. The N62 V8 requires valve stem seal replacement around 80,000 miles. That repair costs $6,000 plus. Air suspension fails predictably. Each corner costs $2,500 to replace. Most E65 owners face $10,000 suspension rebuilds. I've seen owners walk away rather than repair them. One had $14,000 repair estimate at 95,000 miles. The car was worth $8,000. The used market considers E65 models disposable. They sell for $5,000 to $8,000 regardless of condition. Buy a Lexus LS instead. But the depreciation champion still awaits. Number 5. Audi A8. Audi's flagship sinks faster than its competitors. 65% depreciation in 5 years. Complex electronics require expensive repairs constantly. The MMI system becomes outdated quickly. Audi charges $2,500 plus for technology updates. Quattro all-wheel drive adds maintenance complexity. The rear differential requires expensive service. Transmission problems develop around 90,000 miles. All engines require premium fuel and frequent attention. The turbocharged V6 suffers from carbon buildup. The V8 develops timing chain issues. One 60,000-mile service costs $3,200. That's unsustainable for used buyers. I've diagnosed A8s with problems costing more than the car's value to repair. Smart owners walk away. People purchasing used cars probably can't afford A8 maintenance. Even at rock-bottom prices, these sedans are impossible to sell. Only consider the A8 if you're wealthy enough to not care about money. Number 4. Mercedes-Benz S-Class. The flagship Mercedes proves even prestige can't prevent catastrophic depreciation. 70% loss in 5 years. Air suspension fails predictably around 70,000 miles. Complete replacement costs $15,000 plus. Complex technology becomes obsolete rapidly. The command system looks ancient after 5 years. Mercedes charges thousands for updates. The twin-turbo V8 suffers from timing chain issues. The V12 drinks fuel and demands constant attention. One owner's S-Class had the entire wiring harness replaced under warranty. Cost would have been $23,000. Today's S-Class makes yesterday's model look like a flip phone. Used buyers adjust offers accordingly. I watched one customer buy an S-Class for $28,000 that cost $125,000 new. He spent $16,000 on repairs in 18 months. Financial insanity. Unless you're leasing with warranty coverage, the S-Class is financial suicide. Number 3. Tesla Cybertruck. The most controversial vehicle ever made. 37% depreciation in just over 1 year. That's the fastest first-year depreciation in automotive history. Early adopters are getting massacred. Controversial design polarizes everyone. Half think it looks cool, half think it looks like a dumpster. Used buyers lean toward the dumpster. Panel gaps are measured in centimeters. Stainless steel shows fingerprints and water spots constantly. Tonneau covers break regularly. Replacement body panels take months. Some damaged Cybertrucks sit waiting for repairs for 6 months. The advertised 500-mile range proved fictional. Real-world maxes out around 320 miles. Towing cuts that in half. The 48-volt electrical system creates repair complications. Most shops can't work on Cybertrucks. Tesla service centers are overwhelmed. I've seen Cybertrucks with delivery miles listed $20,000 off MSRP. Still no buyers. The used market considers Cybertrucks unsellable. Nobody knows what these will be worth in 5 years. Smart money says very little. Unless you collect automotive curiosities, avoid them completely. Number 2. Jaguar I-Pace. Jaguar's electric flagship became an instant failure. 72% depreciation in 5 years. Early EV technology became obsolete immediately. Range falls short of modern competitors. Charging speeds can't match newer vehicles. Nobody wants early-generation electric Jaguars. The technology aged terribly. Jaguar dealers charge premium rates for everything. Independent shops won't touch complex EV systems. Battery degradation concerns destroy confidence. Early I-Pace models show significant range reduction. Replacement batteries cost more than the car's worth. If Jaguar exits the US market, parts and service disappear. Your I-Pace becomes a $70,000 paperweight. I've seen owners try desperately to trade them. Dealers offer $20,000 for vehicles that cost $80,000 new. That's not depreciation, that's financial obliteration. Tesla, Hyundai, Kia, and even Ford offer superior electric vehicles with better support. The I-Pace represents everything wrong with early EV adoption. Obsolete technology, expensive repairs, catastrophic depreciation. Buy literally any other EV. Finally, the depreciation disaster that defines a generation. Number 1. Jaguar XF. British luxury meets British reliability nightmares. The XF loses 60% in 5 years, but the real story is worse. High maintenance costs destroy ownership economics. Everything costs more than German competitors. Parts take forever. Service appointments require weeks of waiting. Limited brand appeal kills resale. Jaguar lacks prestige in modern markets. Buyers choose German or Japanese luxury instead. The supercharged V6 develops timing chain issues. Diesel models face emission system failures. The turbocharged 4-cylinder burns oil excessively. Electrical problems plague every XF. Infotainment crashes regularly. Warning lights illuminate for mysterious reasons. One owner's XF stranded him 3 times in 6 months. Materials feel cheap after minimal use. Touchscreen responds sluggishly. Build quality falls short of competitors. I've repaired XFs with electrical issues, taking weeks to diagnose. One had intermittent starting problems we chased for a month. The fix cost $3,400. If Jaguar exits the US market, parts and service disappear. Your XF becomes worthless immediately. The used market treats XFs like unwanted stepchildren. They sit unsold for months despite aggressive pricing. 3-year-old XFs sell for less than $18,000. These 23 cars will drain your bank account, but some used cars actually make you money. In my next video, I'll reveal 13 vehicles actually going up in value right now. Buy smart and watch your equity grow. Click the video on the screen now